then when you start seeing the political sides, which I've got tons of pictures of that with the Republican and the Democratic Party always shaking hands, having a beer together, smoking cigars together, and all of these big international bankers are between the two. It shows you it's just a business. You've got to have both sides. As I said, you can't go anywhere with one leg. You've got to have two. If you've ever tried to walk on a glass smooth surface with a thin film of oil on the floor, you're not going to be able to go anywhere. You're going to be falling down because there's no friction. Even with two legs, you can't walk because it's too slippery, and you're not going to be able to move because there's too much. It's too easy to slide. And so what I'm saying is that you need the two sides and friction. You need to cause friction in between the two for you to move. And so that's what these people have understood for thousands of years. Divide and conquer. Get one side against the other, and now you've got a game. Now, we call it a fight game. We even have people in this country who are called fight promoters. And that's what they do. They make a lot of money by bringing two people together, two guys together, and putting them in a ring. And both guys in the ring know who the boss is. He's sitting out there watching them. And both guys are being paid by the same boss. And he's promoting a fight, and all the big shots are there to bet on which side's going to win. So it's really a business, and I'm just amazed how many people fall for this and never question where does the authority come from to run this planet.
The masses never will. They're not supposed to. By the way, if you want to have some fun, look up Western use of the swastika in the early 20th century. So many countries used it. Even there was one painted on the inside of the nose cone of Charles Lindbergh's Spirit of St. Louis. It was just a universal emblem, and it was used in the ancient Indian Indus Valley thousands of years ago. So, of course, when the Germans began using it in the early 30s, it became verboten, no pun intended.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was the end of it. We had an American military, I guess it was an Army division that used it as their
That's right.
Their particular logo, and anyway, so.
That's exactly right.
Interesting stuff. We know so little about history, and that's the way. Again, it's always been played. And as each year goes past, history is rewritten even more. It becomes even less recognizable. So. And
governments, especially this government, wants to make sure that people. They flood your human mind in America with every kind of silly nonsense you can dream up, from game shows to sitcoms to all kinds of craziness and lunacy and sex, drugs, music, rock and roll, whatever, anything. Just flood the human mind with entertainment so that it has no idea in the world where it is, where it's going, and it's total confusion.
It's too easy. It's so easy, Jordan. It's a piece of cake.
Yeah, and you make money doing it. I mean, you're going to do this to the people, but they're going to pay a lot of money to enjoy the entertainment you're providing for them. So, my God, it worked out great. You've got a great job making millions of dollars a year in the motion picture and entertainment industry, and at the same time, you're taking care of what needs to be done by ripping the American people's brains off.
Yes. And then we're not even talking about the technology that is embedded in all of the electronic media, whether it be audio or video. When you look at something and you listen to something like TV, folks, you don't have a chance. You have no idea what's being done to your brain. None. Zero. And then I also believe that the electric grid is being used to broadcast EMF frequencies, which put the brain and the physical body into desired states of being healthy, poor health, depression, happiness. It's very simple. And then we could talk about vaccines. Then we could talk about food additives. The populace doesn't have a clue, and it doesn't have a chance.
Nope, it does not. And I, that's why I don't do a whole lot of radio anymore, because I realize that people don't want to hear the truth. I mean,
No,
God
they
knows how
don't.
many times have I told you that.
This wonderful audience does, and they are the best. And that's why you're here. I know you have a great deal of respect for these folks, and vice versa.
No doubt about it. That's one of the reasons I'm doing it, is because I know that there are people who want to know, but generally speaking, people are not interested to know the truth. They're interested to finance and support what they want to hear, not what they don't want to hear. People will pay big money.
Oh,
25. Look at 25,000 people turn up at a church in Texas to hear some chump jumping around the stage talking about the Lord Jesus coming back and everything's going to be great.
And give me your money. Give me your money.
Yeah, and the people are sitting on the edge of their seats. They can't wait to just wash themselves with all of this malarkey and propaganda, but for someone who's talking about the real truth about what's going on, nobody gives a damn about that. So it's obvious that the human race is not interested in learning the truth, and that's why this kind of this conspiratorial apparatus that's been around for thousands of years works so well. Like, it's because people allow it to happen.
Well, they have undreamed of technology too.
Of
now,
course.
This when I first saw MTV putting videos to music, and I knew that marriage was going to be devastating, and it was. And I remember years ago, CNN hired someone to come in and revamp their entire news operation to pull ratings up. You know who they pulled in? One of the founders of MTV. Glitz, showbiz, cool, hip. It's all the same thing. And again, the masses, they don't have a chance because they don't know. They don't have the intellectual processes to understand what's going on because those are withheld from them. They are not given those tools. Their brains are wired in such a way that they are subservient. They don't push against the matrix, which essentially is peer pressure. If you don't have friends and on your social network and all of those awful social network sites, and you don't have the average teenager texts 4,000 times a month. And they can't even spell because they don't need to know how to spell because the text software has predictive spelling in it.
Yeah. Well, also, I get a lot, maybe 2 or 3 a day, people emailing me wanting me to join their social network. I've said so many times that it's on my website, I have never joined any social network. I have nothing to do with any social network at all, period, end of sentence. Therefore, if you see any social network, my MySpace or whatever, where I have a presence on any social network, just know that's not me. Somebody is representing me, and you're talking to someone else, because I don't ever, under any circumstances, ever use a social network, period. Why? Because I'm smart enough to know these are CIA, USIA, government operations,
all of it,
just the way Mao Zedong did it. All of these networks are just like Mao Zedong did in China when he took over China for the communists. It's the same idea. You find out who is thinking what, and what do they look like, where are they coming from, what's their address, what do they look like, and then find out who are their friends that believe the same way they do, get their name and addresses and faces, so that when it comes time for us to do away with our enemies, we know exactly who they are. We've got their pictures. We know where they live. We've got their address.
Oh, we can track them with their cell phones, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I got, and I've told this story before, I wanted nothing to do with any of it either until maybe, 2 years ago now. Someone told me that, I was at your Facebook page the other day. I said, excuse me? What Facebook page? It turns out and I remember counting, originally there were 7 imposter sites. So eventually someone was kind enough to put one up, a real one, and there is a real one up there now. But I don't have time to spend all day there. I go by and put up a couple of stories, and that's really about all I can do. It's a question of time. And for so many people, these sites are literally their lives. They are so invested in being, quote, connected that they have lost whatever tiny nanospeck of individuality they have. They are now part of the ultimate electronic hive, and that's what the controllers want.
Well, but Jeff, you can take it even further. The scientists are talking about, and they're doing it right now, taking human cells out of your skin and putting it and connecting it to into computers, so that eventually there will be some kind of an amalgamation between the human cell and the human life and a computer. They're already doing that. They're already running tests like that.
Well, and so there'll be a DNA interface too. That's why I mentioned Sergey Brin's wife. The research they're doing is intimately connected to Google. And remember, all of the major elements of the Internet are owned by the controllers. They own it. Whether it's controlled by the military, it doesn't matter, because the military is controlled by the controllers. These are the evil ones. These are the evil ones.
They developed it for that reason.
They absolutely did. The military developed the Internet. I mean, people don't remember that. Now, what I want to also point everyone to now is JordanMaxwell.com. You remember years ago, I just thought of years ago, remember you had that terribly impossible URL for your website?
Oh, God, yes.
Remember how many times I used to tell you to stop that? I used to write Jordan. I'd tell him, I'd write him, I'd talk to him. Jordan? No. It was some impossible name. Anyway. All right, JordanMaxwell.com. Great website with Jordan's material, which is, again, unique on the planet. And if I can ask you to describe what's on there, because you know better than I, but you've got videos on there now that are, you just sit down and you're just mesmerized at how much knowledge you have.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff on there that's dealing with the world of the occult. And if you go on my website to the home page, at the top, on the top left, you'll see a button that says "What's New." That has virtually everything, all on DVDs and books and stuff like that.
Right.
There's an enormous amount of stuff on there, but most people are not aware of how these symbols and emblems are in religion, in governments, in corporations, and secret societies, and all that kind of thing. And it's all connected over many hundreds of years. That's what I've been trying to do by putting these videos out, is to show the connection between the ancient, the medieval, and the modern day world, and where all of this stuff has come from. So there's an awful lot of stuff on the website that people can avail themselves of. And so, but unfortunately, here's something that happens to me, and it probably happens to a lot of people, and that is when I'm doing a lecture somewhere in town, people will come and they will buy the newest video from me. And so I'll make a sale, and they go home and immediately download that new video in their computer and put it out on the web for free. And that's
sad. It's theft. Over. It's terrible. It's see, that's another problem. Everybody steals. Everybody lies. Now, I don't mean everybody. I'm using the term very loosely. I'm putting quotes around it. To do what Jordan just described is a crime of the highest magnitude, because they're stealing Jordan's intellectual wealth, his achievements, his lifetime of labor, and they're giving it away. So I hope all of you will buy at least one DVD. There are over 30 here on this wonderful page. It's the What's New page at jordanmaxwell.com. And don't upload it to the internet. Don't give it away. Encourage other people to support this man. There is so much knowledge on this one page, it is probably the equivalent of a bachelor's degree if you were to go through and synthesize all of it. And we all know that most bachelor's degrees now are
not worth the paper they're printed on.
Not even.